This house is dedicated to knowledge and to the spreading of knowledge. Elijah Muhammad inspired new thought, new mind, new way of civilization among black people. But he wanted a house from which a light could be lifted up to give guidance to all who would be guided as this world begins to close down. This national center for the re-education and retraining of the black man and woman, but for the totality of the human family of our planet. I named this mosque after the only woman that the Quran names a chapter after, the mother of Jesus, Maryam. All human beings need to be re-educated. That is the purpose of the National Center.
Now you can get the same uncompromising truth you've come to expect from the Final Call newspaper on all your connected devices. Subscribe to the Final Call digital edition today. Go to subscribe.finalcalldigital.com.
Greetings to you. I'm Brother James Muhammad, a student in the ministry of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and your host for this week's segment of Closing the Gap broadcast. We want to welcome all of our viewing and listening audience, those who attend regularly, and hopefully there are some new participants to the broadcast. We anticipate a wonderful and inspirational interview with a very, 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 very special guest. Special to me. I've known him by Allah's grace for over 30 years, and I have been blessed to be counseled by him and mentored to some degree by him. But before we begin, let us open up as we always do. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God to whom all praise is due, the Lord of the worlds. We thank Almighty God Allah for his merciful and prophetic intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad. And we thank him for raising up from our midst his messenger, Messiah, the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, through whom we have been given our beloved and blessed Redeemer. And I refer to him as my personal Savior. The man of whom I speak is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In their names, beloved brothers and sisters, friends, and even if there are some enemies present, we want to greet all of you with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. All praise is due to Allah. I don't see our brother. Let me add him. Oh, there he is. Yeah. All praise is due to Allah. Well, for those of you who are viewing at this time, you, I'm sure, recognize our brother. He needs no introduction, but it's my honor and privilege to present him to the Closing the Gap broadcast family, the Closing the Gap broadcast network audience. Before we do, I want to present our co-hosts, whom we are extremely honored and happy to have by our side. Our dear sister, Starla Muhammad, the managing editor of the Final Call newspaper, the greatest paper that has ever been published by the greatest publisher. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Stala.
Wa alaikum salam, Brother James, Brother Chad, and to my dear brother, Student Minister Abdul, Malik, Sayyid, Muhammad. I'm excited to be back once again on another episode of Closing the Gap for another important, and wonderful topic this evening, the universality of the original people. And of course, as always, we want to invite our viewing and listening audience throughout this evening's program. If there are any questions that you have for Student Minister Abdul Malik Sayyid, make sure you place those questions in the chat and we will get through as many of them as possible. But welcome once again to Closing the Gap. Thank you.
Thank you, dear sister, and welcome. And of course, our dear brother and student minister of Muhammad Mosque number 47, Student Minister Chad Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Chad.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. And I just want to extend the greetings also to Sister Stala and also our dear brother, Student Minister Abdul Malik Sayyid. Just also want to give you the greetings, dear brother, on behalf of our Student Regional Minister, Brother Patrick Muhammad, and also just all of the believers right here in the 7th region that's excited and want to tune in. Assalamu alaikum also, dear brother.
Alaikum salam.
All praise is due to Allah. And so let us get underway. Again, not introducing our brother, because I doubt if there's any need for that, but certainly the honor and privilege of presenting him on our broadcast. He's been here before. It's been quite a pause before he had returned, but we're very happy that you have, Brother Minister. The reason why we asked if you would be here is because of the subject matter. As I have been blessed to witness your work in Los Angeles and in the Western region, and as I have observed your ability to reach beyond ethnic lines, beyond cultural lines or boundaries, and reach out to the whole of the human family, particularly our brothers and sisters who are part of the original family. We want to extol your work with the so-called gangs in Los Angeles and with our Black people, poor people, and even poor whites. You have truly personified the outreach that was instructed for Jesus's disciples to make. At some point, according to the scripture, Jesus said, "Go ye not to the Samaritans, but go ye only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel," which you have done and are doing wonderfully. But at some point, he said, "Go ye now to every nation, kindred, and tongue." And I have watched you, witnessed you do just that. And because we're dealing with the universality of the original people, I couldn't think of anybody better to deal with that subject matter other than my brother, my friend, and in some cases, my mentor. You know, when you're in trouble, that's when you can tell that you have friends. And when I was in trouble, I'm sure he remembers, he came by my side because I was crying hard. But I thank you, brother, and I love you for it. But let's get underway. And now the mic is yours, brother, for your opening remarks.
Wow. I mean, that was such a big introduction. I pray to Allah that certainly I could live up to such a big introduction. But let me too start by, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came to us in the person of Master Father Muhammad. How could we thank him enough for what he has done for us? The level and the demonstration of love that a man had who came 9,000 miles by himself.
That's right.
and he found one from among us worthy that he could make up into himself. And that man was the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And in their absence, another fusion took place.
Yes.
Where the honorable Elijah Muhammad made the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan all up into himself. So the three are actually one.
That's right.
It's in their names, dear brothers and sisters, and to your guests, that I greet all of you in something that's needed so much so on our planet, so desperately so on the earth. We need peace.
That's right.
So I greet all of you, Brother James, Sister Starla, our student minister Chad. I greet all of you in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Walaikum salam.
Wonderful to have you back, Brother Minister.
Man, it's good to be back, brother.
Yes.
Closing the gap. I mean, just the title of the show in itself, for those of us who know that person who was the author of Closing the Gap.
That's right.
You know, you can't come on Closing the Gap playing.
That's right. All praise is due to Allah. Yes, sir.
So it's an honor to be with you and your listening audience. And I pray that in some small or big way, I could say something that will inspire others to really do our job. And that is to take this teachings to every nook and cranny all over the earth.
That's right.
But never forsaken the foundation, which is our people. Black people first and all others after that. And so it's an honor. And your subject matter, the universality of the original people there, you know, people don't realize who we really are. And people don't realize who this man in Chicago really is.
Come on.
People assume they know our teaching. They assume they know what we are all about. But many have never experienced us.
That's right.
And I'm a firm believer that unless you experience something, you went there, you dealt with it, and it became true for you, it ain't true if you ain't experienced it. And most people have experienced us through other narratives. And when we are firmly rooted in who we are, why should we fear going among any other people?
Come on.
But you got to be firmly rooted in knowing that you are the root
That's right.
of civilization. And knowing that and using the teachings not to recite the lessons. Yeah, you start off reciting them, but you use them at a particular point. Now they become the lens through which you see everything.
Yes.
No matter what book, no matter where I go, no matter what I study, I'm always looking at it to see how it fits with the universality, the universal teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. People tell me, well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't teach universally. Yes, he did. He taught original people.
That's right. That's right.
We are the root. See, you see a tree and you talk to the orange, but that orange has a root that you don't see. And so it is beautiful, dear brother. And I'm thankful that when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I was black, black, black. I'm still that.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But I'm not so black
Yes, sir.
where it don't make sense that you just doing it to hurt people's feelings.
Yes, sir.
Black is not something you have to say. You just be black.
That's right.
Because we know from our teachings, black is not a color.
That's
it is the essence from which all color comes from. So no matter who I talk to of original people, I know I'm talking to family. So I've tried to use that. And let me tell you, the greatest example is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I've been at tables with my immature self, with a chip on my shoulder about white people, And I watched the minister at his table treat them with such kindness and such love and such respect. And he teach them from where they are, and he lose nobody.
That's right. Go ahead.
See? And he says to us sometimes, he says, some of you are so angry, and your teachings got to evolve and come out of the root of hatred and vitriol. And when you come out of hatred and vitriol and you grow to love, when you teach, even when you disabuse people, they'll know it came from the root of love. And so I watched him. I watched him among the community, so-called homosexuals, and I watched how he handled our gay and lesbian. I'm like, this man, you know, I'll be sitting there with rocks. You know, why are you talking to these people? Yes. I watched him talk to people who spoke ill of him, even called for his death. And I watched him shower them with love. And I said, you know what? I got to grow up. And so I thank Allah that, in my opinion, I have evolved to a measure of maturity. And all of us have to be better. And as a result of that, you know, after Nipsey Hussle, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said to me, brother, you're in the West. He said, Los Angeles is made up of every ethnicity on the planet.
Yes, sir.
He said, but be the root. But now start building bridges to other ethnic groups. See, and don't be afraid to share the teachings with them. But don't do it out of hatred. Do it out of love. And so I started building bridges to different communities, the Samoan communities, the Asian communities, to little Cambodia, to little Tokyo, you know, to Chinatown, you know, Armenia, you name it. And it blows people away when we sit with them and they hear the teachings. And I've seen people with tears in their eyes that's not Black. And as a result, now in Los Angeles, we have 5 Asians that's in the processing class as we speak.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, brother.
Our Chicano family in the processing class as we speak. One sister, she's Cambodian in the processing class, you know, and so that's the universality, you know, of our teachings, because we are the root. And when you look at a tree, even if it's an orange or an apple tree, there are different leaves, there are different branches on that tree. Before you even see the apple, you see a seed. So you can look at any tree and it has many various parts, but that tree wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the root.
That's right.
See? So I stay at the root and I try not to ever be arrogant, or when I speak to people, I never try to speak down to them. I speak over to them. And like the minister said, he said, brother, you don't have the power to convert. Let Allah do the converting. You just do the connecting.
Yes, sir.
See? And so when I meet people, I used to try to convert them, Brother James, Sister Starla. I'm like, I don't do that no more. I try to connect with people now.
Come on, brother.
And then when you leave their presence,
yes,
you can feel them say, that's a good dude.
Yes, sir.
That's a good dude. I like him.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the untold story of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it's right there in point number 12. We didn't say we wanted a Black government only.
That's right.
That's right. Master Fard Muhammad came to bring about a universal government.
Yes.
Wherein all would live in peace. But I even say to white people and other people, you got to get used to Black people being in charge.
That's right. That's right.
Really? Yes.
You got to be used to our energy. I mean, look at what Deion Sanders is doing. You're already seeing signs where we're coming into power, and when we do, it's causing a movement. Same thing will happen when we in the Nation of Islam come out of the mosque. See? Mm-hmm. Come out of hiding. Come from behind the sycamore tree and get out in the streets. Go to where the people are hurting.
That's right.
Come on.
See? No matter who they are. Asian community here was shot up a dance studio of elderly Chinese people. And our sister Amina Lee, who's Chinese. We grabbed 40 or 50 believers and went to the site with candles and laid candles and had a prayer. And it was hundreds of Chinese people out, and they just ran and fell in our arms because they didn't, it was like, we can't believe somebody black showed up.
Mm. Yes, sir.
And I said, we're your family. See? And I said, we just want to have a talk, but we're here to show our love for the suffering that you have been done. And we want to start a dialogue because, you know, the enemy has, you know, they want black and they want our Asian families to be at war. Well, my job on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is to stop that.
Yes, sir.
And I said this to them. I said, in our teachings, do you know we never called ourselves Black Muslims?
That's right.
I said, that's what white people call us. I said, when we sit down over dinner, I want to show you where that man, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, was asked the question, who is the original man? And his answer was the original man is the Asiatic black man. And brother, they was like, what?
Yeah.
See, if we learn how to talk to people, man, I don't care who they are. And when I show a picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I said, look at him. If you're Chinese or from the Asiatic community, if you look at him, he look Asiatic. Mm. You take him to the Native Americans, you look at him, he look Native American. You take him to Mexicans, it's like this man fits anyone.
Universal. Come on, brother.
It's universal, brother. I said he started with us because we was in the worship, and they all admit. Yes. See, when you open people up like that.
Beautiful. Come on.
And again, I wouldn't have had no way of knowing how to do this without watching the minister.
Yes, sir.
And when I took Amina Lee to the minister and he put something on her, he said, look, you're going to have to be a bridge. But the people that's going to step on you is going to come from both directions. Because even unfortunately, some of us in the nation are not ready. See? But I thank Allah that the believers kind of grew up, but a lot of them caught hell from us. Because people question their motives. Are you in here after our brothers? Or you in here after Stop it.
Come on.
Stop it. What do you mean after your brothers? It's 4,400,000,000. And all of them are not black. And so we grew up, and that sister has done a wonderful job connecting us with our family. And Brother James, what we do, and to your guests, we go to other communities' events. And I said, brothers, let's study their culture. We'll go to their table, and if they take off their shoes, they sit on the floor. We do the same thing. We just make sure that we let them know the kind of food that we eat.
Come on, bro.
We go to their events and listen to their music and watch how they treat their women. I took some brothers to the Native American powwow, and we went into the sweat lodge with them. And among the Native Americans, we found out the level of respect that they have for women. And when they take you into the Anipi, the sweat lodge, they want men in a symbolic way to experience the pain that women go through giving birth to children. I'm like, oh my God. Wow. Because everything for them is purifying. I said, this is the righteous. See, so I'm learning a lot. The Samoans, these big old brothers, 6'8", 400 pounds, teddy bears. Their whole culture is rooted in love. When you go among them, they try to, if you say you want some water, 50 Samoans will break to be the first one to get you the water.
Wow.
Because they want to be the first to show you love and show you respect. See? Our problem is we've allowed Yakub and his maid devils to go among us telling lies. And so it's been a beautiful thing, my dear brothers. So the universality of this teaching and our people, brother, it's powerful.
All praise is due to Allah. It is that. And of course, I want to make this statement, and then I want to turn it over to our dear sister and co-host, Sister Stala Muhammad. But if we would just look at the statement of what the Muslims believe, point number 5, it says we believe in, of course, the resurrection, but not in physical resurrection, in mental resurrection. Then it states that the black man and woman, or the American so-called Negro, will be resurrected first. So when you use the term first, the indication is that there will be a second, a third, and so on. And then who are they? You see? And so it's my great privilege to turn it over now to our dear sister, Stala Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you. We have a question already for you, Brother Minister Abdul Malik Sayyid, from our dear brother Tony Muhammad down in Miami, Florida. I'll place the question on the screen and I will read it. He says, Assalamu alaikum, Brother Minister. California and generally the West Coast region of the Nation of Islam has great diversity in regards to our original family. Oftentimes, because of the enemy's work, there are conflicts that take place among us. Can you speak about some of your most significant accomplishments to establish the peace among the different communities?
Thank you. Well, certainly the work that I've done by Allah's grace, number one, I just want to say this: the guidance from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been, I'm telling you, it's nothing better than the guidance that he gave me. He said to me when he sent me, he said, brother, don't let me catch you in Hollywood. He said, go to the streets and stay in them. And at a point when you win the streets, Hollywood and others will come after you.
That's right.
And that's what I did. And as a result of staying in the streets, you're going to run to our Chicano family. I don't call them Latino. They don't like to be called Latino out here.
Okay.
And in sitting with, but again, the teachings, when you show them the teachings, and the minister said to me, when you mount the rostrum, brother, do not throw black in our Chicano family's face, or our Asian brothers and sisters' face, our Samoan brothers. He said, I don't want you using the word black out there. Use the word original.
Yes, sir.
See? So if I feel like I want to say black, I say original. And to our beautiful original people. See? And I say, when I say original, that includes, and people, they light up. Let me say this. Look, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has already gained respect from many of them. Sometimes it's our attitude towards people that bring their level of respect down from the nation. So when I go among them, I've learned a little bit of some about everybody's culture. So before I go among the Samoans, I had some of the brothers from the Booyah tribe to tell me, brother, what's disrespectful? See? What's respect? What shouldn't I do? Instead of being arrogant, I'm just gonna go. I'm a minister in the nation. I'm gonna go over there anyway. No, give me the do's and don'ts.
Yes, sir.
See, and once I get the do's and don'ts, see, when I go amongst the Chinese people, they said always have a business card because they see that very respectful. And when you hand it to them, don't hand it to them with one hand. Hand it to them with 2 fingers and a bow.
Wow. Yes, sir.
And they will respect you forever. If you hand it to them with one hand, they'll never call you again. So I'm learning. See, that's who we are. We're gods. We're scientists.
Come on, brother.
And as a result of doing that, and then when I go among them and they see me, even if I don't get it right, they see me and you know, all of us are impressed. We're impressed when people so-called act black. And so that's how I win people. What helped us with the Asian community, again, when there was Asian people was being beat by, see, and here's how the media did it. One brother in the Bay Area hurt an elderly Asian. But the way the press put that out, it was if all black people did it.
Mm.
See? And so when we went to meet with the Asian community, we had to quell that, to say to them, it's not all black people. Or when an Asian do something to black people, the white man steps into that emotion like Yakub and his maid devils do, and they cause dissension. Well, we step in to quell that. It's just about sitting down, Sister Starla and Brother Tony. It's about taking the best delegation in the mosque. And when I go to meet with our community, I try to take the more mature brothers and sisters that ain't gonna go in there with no mean mugging.
Oh, yes, sir.
See?
Yes.
Because it's a social maneuver. This is no maneuver to go to them all squared up like we getting ready to do harm to them. And once we start the conversations, I find the commonalities like I've watched the minister do. I teach on it. I go to them wanting nothing but to let them know the Nation of Islam have nothing but the utmost respect. And I start teaching on the enemy who's trying to get us to fight and kill one another. And let me tell you something. They are not as sleep as we are.
No, sir.
When you teach them to teach, and they take to it like, it's like, whoa, we want more of this. And to me, that's how, in my humble opinion, I'm thinking I'm answering the brother's question, but, and you got to also be a people person.
Yes, sir.
You know, and that's how I've been able to win the communities. And as I said before, when the Asian community have a festival, we go. We had a peace ride. They showed up. And the black gangs, I mean, they just tripped out because 30 or 40 Asians came to the community at the murder of a black gang killing another black gang, embracing black mothers.
Oh, praise is due to Allah.
So when our people saw that, see, now you are stopping what Satan have done. And then now those families go to the Asian community. Now we're going back and forth. When they have an event, we go. When we have an event, they come. We got a peace ride tomorrow. They'll be there. So that's how I've been blessed to win a lot of our community by sometimes going to people when they are suffering a tremendous loss.
Yes.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, student minister. We got another question. That's the questions that's flowing in. This is from our dear brother Dale Dixon. And he wants you to take it back to the beginning. He said, how did you meet Minister Louis Farrakhan and how did he change your life?
Oh, this is a wonderful story. I heard it before, but it's a wonderful.
Me too. Beautiful.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, Well, I mean, I met him through a videotape.
Yes.
You know, I was a drug dealer, or attempting to be a drug dealer in Atlanta, Georgia. At that time, I was working for Eastern Airlines. And Eastern Airlines was known for moving drugs.
Mm.
And just to make a long story short, one of the brothers who worked with me that sold drugs for me came to my apartment, and he had this tape. Well, it's a lot. It wasn't the first time that Minister Farrakhan was introduced to me. It was introduced by a Muslim brother, but I kind of turned him down. And I ended up going back to him. But let me finish the story. So the brother came to my apartment. Here I am selling drugs, making thousands of dollars a week. I'd only been in the drug game maybe a couple of months, maybe 3, but I was making a lot of money. He came to my house with a tape. Hey man, you ever heard of Minister Farrakhan? I said, hey, have he ever heard of me? I didn't know who Minister Farrakhan was.
All praise is due to Allah.
Man, you stupid. You know, we was using N-words.
Yeah.
He said, man, I'm telling you, you got to hear this. Man, can I put it on? I said, brother, look, there go the TV. You can play whatever you want, because once I finish measuring this drugs, y'all got to get out my house. So the brother pops the tape in. The tape is titled Power at Last Forever, Los Angeles.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sitting there measuring the drugs. I ain't paying no attention to the tape until a brother started introducing the minister. And the roar of the crowd, I looked up and I saw thousands of black people there to hear one man. I'm like, that many people be listening to black folks?
Come on, brother.
And then when the minister came up, you know, he walks on the stage, you know, he captured my imagination. And then when he opened up, the rhythm of the vibration of him just opening up, I couldn't take my eye off of him. And as he was teaching, he went into a little history of who the black man is. And tears begin to gather in my eyes. Yeah. Because I had never heard someone tell me who I was and my relationship to the originator. And then he said, this generation, there's more to you than you could ever imagine. He said, but many of you have become a patriot missile in the hands of the enemy. He said, now I want to say something to you dope dealers. I was like, whoa.
Go ahead, brother. Yes, sir.
The brother, I love it that you want to be an entrepreneur. Nothing is wrong with that. We just got to talk about your product. Then he said, your biggest enemy is not the white man. Your biggest enemy is not the brown or the red man. The biggest enemy to black progress is ignorance. And because of your ignorance, now you are selling dope, helping the white man to destroy your people. And when he said that, I had made an agreement with God at 7 or 8 years old, watching Dr. King and his followers being sprayed with water and dogs sicked on them. And I made a vow that I was going to help a man like that. And all of that came back to me. And as God is my witness, when that tape went off, I took all the drugs that was on my table.
Come on, brother.
And flushed them down the toilet.
All
and I went back to my job at Eastern. There was a brother named Oliver X. We were scared of him. And I said, brother, I want to go to the mosque. And I went to the mosque, and I probably interrupted the minister 3 or 4 times because he was taking too long. And I was arrogant. I said, hey, man, I got somewhere to go. I want to join.
Yes, sir.
The brother said, brother, hold on, brother. You got to wait.
Yes,
we got to do charity. And when the charity came by, I threw probably $3,000 or $4,000 in the charity bucket, joined the nation, and I didn't look back. 9 years later,
come on, beloved,
I became the minister in Los Angeles. And the first time, it was, I was a big sports hero in the Atlanta area from Decatur, played football and baseball at Morris Brown College, had some pro tryouts. So when I came in the nation, it was big news in my community. And I made a vow to Allah that I did not want to personally meet Minister Farrakhan until I had brought 10,000 brothers in the nation.
Come on, beloved.
And I was Tony 3X. And every week I was bringing 30, 40, 50 first-time guests. And then I brought about 150 at one time, and that got to the minister. And so when the minister came to Atlanta for an event, I was out selling tickets and papers, and the brothers pulled up on me and said, "Hey, man, Minister Farrakhan want you to come to his hotel and meet with him." And I said, "Brother, with all due respect, just let the minister know, no, I'm good, brother." The brother said, "What? You don't get get your butt in this car." I said, "Oh, brother, I had promised God I don't want to go meet that man. I was still feeling dirty. I had been selling dope. I turned women out with drugs, man. I did not want to go and meet this holy man." So they kind of kidnapped me, family. Man, I'm almost about to cry when I.
That's all right, brother. It's beautiful, beautiful testimony.
And when I went to the hotel, I was trembling like the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, man.
Wow.
And when I came in the room, he just looked. He said, "Oh, I know who that is." And Brother Khaled, who was the minister, he said, "Oh, minister, that's Tony 3X." He said, "No, that's not no Tony 3X. I'd only been in the nation 3 months." He said, "That's Tony Muhammad." Everybody started cheering. And then he said, "Brother, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that some people are born to do this work and some are trained." He said, "I hear you bring a lot of gas. That tells me you were born to do this work, brother." And then he started telling me that you're going to have to go through something, though, even in the nation. But you just keep your eye on the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and watch me, brother, and you'll be all right. And that's how I met the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Wonderful testimony.
Absolutely. Never get old, brother. We appreciate that.
No.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Brother Minister Abdul Malik, of course, the issue of immigration has once again, been making the news cycle. And I know one of the things that I often notice, particularly in the Chicago area, is, again, the fomenting of tensions from the outside, where you've got some of our Black brothers and sisters who are, looking at some of our brown brothers and sisters who are just trying to make a better life for themselves and their families when they're, quote unquote, coming across the border, coming into some of these sanctuary cities. So can you talk about, the best way to be able to speak with our Black brothers and sisters and explaining to them we shouldn't be pointing our fingers at, our brothers and sisters who are just trying to make a better life for themselves. But it seems like I'm noticing just a lot of that tension and that finger pointing being fomented among, Black folks, this anti-migrant, this anti-immigrant sentiment. Can you speak on that a little bit and the best way for us to be able to reach our people with regard to this issue?
Well, what works for us in Los Angeles, because they've had panels. What works for us in Los Angeles?
Sorry.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. That was me. It's on my phone as well. So
okay.
It just repeated what you said.
Well, what works for us in Los Angeles, most of our people claim to be Christians. And a lot of our people go by their Bible, they say. I don't know the exact verse, but the Bible talks about the borders being overran.
Mm-hmm.
See? And then when I'm on these panels, I bring the stats. Because we've made the word immigration just like we made the word gangs and violence synonymous to Black people. Well, immigration have been made synonymous to brown people when there's more white immigrants coming in the country than there are brown.
Wow.
So
Come on.
we don't talk about the European immigrant that's coming in the country by the tens of thousands. And when you show that, and you show people how they're being duped, but out here what works for us is, I said, brother, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, California, Arizona, New Mexico, all of this belongs to the original people. I said the alien in this country is white people. When ain't none of y'all trying to put white people out, see? And so when you kind of show those statistics, and then I say to them, see, all of this, our enemy. The Caucasians is pushing the immigrants mainly in our areas. See, knowing, again, that they've gone between us telling lies. Well, you know, Black people, they don't like you all. Black people have a heart. You know, they're trying to represent us to them. And many of them tell me that before they even got to the country, they was being told that their greatest enemy was going to be Black people in the hoods. See? So somebody has been going back and forth building this tension, because the minister have taught us always look for the cause.
That's right.
See? The science of cause and effect. Who caused this? And when, you know, when we kind of talk, the thing that I'm learning, you all, the Nation of Islam got juice. We really have authority.
Come on, brother minister.
And when we use the actual facts instead of getting into the emotion of the thing, I try to teach from mathematics first. I said, if we're going to get mad at that the amount of people that's coming into this country, America, let's look at the real stats. See? And so there are more whites. And then let's look at the reason. How are the immigrants getting in the country? White rich people. Because they're routing them to the farm. They're routing them to the jobs that we didn't want to do. So when the gangs tell me they're taking our jobs, I said, what job?
Come on, bro.
Brother, you don't want to pick no oranges.
That's real.
You don't want to work on no farms.
That's right.
We've made farm terminology slavery talk. Y'all don't even want to cut grass, so they doing it. You don't even want to learn the construction trades. They learn the trades. You sitting in your hood on a stump watching the world go by and allowing the enemy to tell you that our immigrants is taking something from us that we don't even have. We don't have no community.
Excellent point.
We're renters. And when we talk like that, I said, now don't get me wrong. Some of them are ignorant now. They like us.
Yes, sir.
But their spirit, if you talk to their spirit, if you talk to their essence, if you talk to their soul and bypass their condition, you'll get a better conversation out of them. And so what we try to do, and our community allow us out here, you know, to be the buffer between our Chicano family, our Central and South American family. That's where we, the Nation of Islam, come in. We have to be the buffers in that conversation and show the tricks of Satan.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you for that answer, dear brother. Student Minister Abdul Malik, you talked earlier about, you know, when you was going into about coming into the nation and about your travels, dear brother, in your years of being in the Nation of Islam, you know, as you travel from Atlanta to Los Angeles and elsewhere, what's the commonality that you notice that our people have interest in, are concerns about with a lot of the people you have met? What's some of the commonality that they have interest in or concerns about? If you could talk to us about that.
Well, to me, one of the biggest interests, our people, really, brother, they're looking for a hero.
Mm.
They're looking for a leader. But this enemy throws shade on the honorable minister. They got one.
That's right.
See? And they throw shade on the real leader so the people can never get a proper view. See? So when I go to the community, I mean, our people love unity. They love pageantry.
Yes.
And they want to see it sustained. How do we sustain it, brother minister? What they call me. I said, brother, we got to continue to sit down and dialogue. We got to nurse on who God is. We got to nurse on our relationships with God. See? And to me, that's the biggest concern that I mean, everywhere I go, I can go to New York or I can go to Baltimore. I remember going to Baltimore once with Brother Carlos and them, who's doing a wonderful job, and they took me to the streets. You know what they wanted to know? How can we unite? See? How can I unite with them other dudes over there in the other hoods? And I'm going to tell you, brother, when Minister Farrakhan said to me, when you go to the streets, do not see my brothers as gang members. When you see a sister who's prostituting, don't see the prostitute. Speak around the prostitute and speak to who she is.
Nature.
See? Go to her. Speak to her as if she was God.
Come on.
Because that's who she is by nature. It's just by circumstance. So a lot of times we go to talk up to the people's condition and we re-stimulate them.
Right.
When I see a gang member with a lot of dudes following, I'm like, brother, do you realize? I said, I know what you call yourself. I said, but do you realize, brother, you're exercising God power? Huh? I said, look at all these dudes that's following you. I said, in the nation, you would be a captain.
Come on, brother.
I said, you're a leader, brother.
Yes, sir.
I said, if you can lead men to kill, you can lead men to heal. And I said, guess what? I met some homies like you in the hood y'all hate, just like you. I need to introduce you in him. I mean, brother, and many of them, how can they deny that when you now not talking to their condition, but you're speaking to their soul? I'm telling you, I practice this, brother, as God is my witness. I've had brothers with me, and we go in an area in LA called Figueroa. That's where a lot of prostitution. And when we get out of the car and we start calling the sisters queen, they start pulling, you can see them fixing themselves.
Yes, sir.
Sister, do you really? Oh, my pimp is looking. No, don't worry about your pimp. Your pimp ain't pimping today.
Go ahead. That's right.
I said, God sent me here to talk to you because you're a God. And man, it's beautiful, bro. If you now, and look, but you got to be for real with it. You can't go among our people. Can you fool a Muslim?
Come on, brother. Not nowadays.
Not nowadays. The streets know when you shady.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and the sisters be like, okay, brother. And then after a while, they be like, okay, brother, but get out. I got to make some money.
Yes.
But before we left, the brother said, wow, she called you brother. I said, see, that's her nature.
Ain't that something? Come on.
I don't speak to people's condition, brother. I learned from the minister, speak to their nature, not their condition.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes, sir. All praise to Allah.
Come on.
Yes.
Brother Minister, in the mighty work that you do amongst the various members of the original family, can you talk about, do you notice among maybe the younger people of the various ethnic groups that they are more open because maybe they've, been around other cultures and other communities, maybe more so than their parents or grandparents? Can you talk about your work amongst, our young Chicano family, our young Asian brothers and sisters?
Yes, it's always the youth. And let me tell you what has happened. we're celebrating 50 years of what?
Hip hop.
Hip hop. Well, what was one of the, in my opinion, the strongest influence on hip hop was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So many of the young people in other ethnicities are already following Black people through hip hop. And many of them want to be Black. There's a radio DJ out here named Big Boy.
Yes.
Yes.
Big Boy went to Japan, and when he was in Japan, he sent me some video clippings of Japanese youth with red bandanas and blue bandanas calling themselves Bloods and Crips.
Mm.
And throwing gang signs and in lowriders. They just didn't kill. But they want our culture.
Yes.
See? So yes, and again, this when we embrace the youth, when the elders see it, see, it helps open the hearts of the elders because it's like, wow. For instance, Chinatown, the FOI, we went to Chinatown and there are some Chinese young people who try to mimic the Nation of Islam, and they make sure that they secure the business community in Chinatown, helping the elders, go home, get in their cars. We went and helped them. And do you know, one of the brothers was helping one of the elders, and the elders was a little frightened, and the young person came talking Chinese to the lady, and when she finished, the lady came over and hugged the brother.
Mm. Yes.
I don't know what they said. See? But we got to be like Master Father Muhammad. He didn't come here and was standoffish. He went door to door.
That's right.
He came among us. He confronted us. Confront don't mean get in somebody's face, and be, no, confront means getting next to something and being there comfortably. See? So yes, sister, it is the youth. There's a movement among the young Chicanos, the Native Americans, the Chinese Americans out here. I mean, all of them move to the beat of hip hop. And because of Sister Milam and Sister Amina, see, all of them are artists. Our sister who's in our mind, she's an artist. See? And so she takes the sisters with her to the Chinese community. And let me tell you, we went to Chinatown and some of the elders brought pictures of their grandparents who were Chinese, but they're darker than me.
Come on, brother minister. Yes, sir.
They said, no, we Black. We Black.
Wow.
See, the original Chinese.
Right.
It'll blow you away, man. See? And so if you go to the people seeking no gain and you just there, they'll open up. And through the young people, and that's what I'm saying, they help. Because a lot of times in the Chinese and the Asian community, they do not like to show pictures of some of their relatives who are very dark-skinned because of white supremacy.
Come on.
They too suffer. Look, Black people suffer from white supremacy. See, it ain't, we do it, the light skin against the dark skin. We suffer from it. And so when you see that kind of opening, so I'm saying to you, Sister Starla, this is why I love the leader. The teachings of the Nation of Islam have always been a young people's movement.
Come on, brother minister. Yes.
This is why in the mosque in LA, I rarely teach. It's the young people I put out front.
We see that too.
Guiding,
yes,
and I'm directing. I go up every now and then to just lift them, to tell them how great. I have Sister Amina Lee opening up, and her Asian family is sitting there watching her open up. And then every now and then she may say something in Chinese. We don't know what the hell she said. I told her she's going to have an MGT Chinese drill team. What's wrong with that? The minister said to me once, brother, when we grow, we're going to have a mosque in East LA, in the Chicano neighborhood. That's all them.
That's right.
We're going to have a mosque in the Asian community. That's all them. And then one Sunday out of every month, bring everybody together for California Unity Sunday.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah. See? It's beautiful. So you're right. So it's the young people. And it's just very, very powerful. There's a brother, well-known Asian brother called China Mac.
Mm-hmm.
If you look him up on your IG, you'll see he's got a lot of followers. And he was on a panel when we went to sit to get to know, our Asian family. He was real quiet. And as I'm teaching, I noticed him crying.
Come on, man. Wow. Yes, sir.
I'm like, brother, you okay? He said, no. He said, I want to tell my community something. He was a Chinese brother that grew up in New York. He's a hip hop artist and a gangster. He said, I served time in the youth authority. He said, I want to let the community know that when I was in prison in New York, I became a 5%er.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
See? And they used to call him, he was called Asian Supreme. And he just said, I've been hiding that from the community, but I'm not going to hide anymore. Wow. I want to stand up and be who I mean, we were blown away.
Man, all praises are due to Allah.
See?
Yes, sir.
You don't know where the seeds of Islam has been sprinkled. But the brother, he said, what won him was how we came off. We didn't come trying to tell them they got to follow us, but I came that we're one. And the way I would listen to the Chinese youth, and sometimes, Brother James, Brother Chad, and Sister Starla, sometimes I'll sit among them and become a student. I don't share nothing. I just learn.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes they'll ask me questions. I'll know the answer, but I won't answer. I said, I came here to learn. I'll get back with you, but I want to learn from you. And that's what China Mac said. He said, brother, when you said that,
mm-hmm.
I gained a lot of respect because we students.
That's right.
So I'm always in the frame of a student. So yes, ma'am, it is the young people. And if we take the young people in our minds and we start learning the different language, Chinese, Japanese, Mandarin, whatever the language are, we need to start teaching that to our babies.
Come on, Brother Minister.
Because even the way our children see the supreme wisdom, they don't see it the same way we do. And so, yes, ma'am. And I'm telling you, the hip hop community is so powerful that actually the hip hop community have opened doors in many, many of the other ethnic communities. Because every one of these youth, all of them listen to hip hop.
All praises due to Allah, Brother Minister. Now, we do have some questions from the audience. And if they can indulge me, I just want to make, and you as well, I just want to make one announcement as we have arrived at the top of our second hour. And I just want to inform those of you who are viewing this broadcast on Facebook, we appreciate it. We want to ask you at the end of the broadcast, if you're watching on Facebook, to go to our YouTube channels. And there are two. You can go to at CTG Broadcast, or you can go to CTG Broadcast and subscribe. We are rebuilding our subscriptions because, as you know, Brother Minister, if YouTube doesn't like what you broadcast, we've lost thousands, literally thousands of subscriptions, and we are rebuilding. So I want to ask you, those of you who are viewing it on Facebook, please go to those YouTube channels and subscribe. Thank you. Let's continue.
Praise be to Allah. we're going to continue with the questions.
Yeah, by all means. Yes.
Lovely. Well, all right. This is from Annie Wright. She says, my brother, Sayyid Muhammad, how are the police responding to the work of the Nation of Islam?
Mhm.
Thank you for that question. Once again, I've been in Los Angeles now for 28 years. No other minister in the history of the Nation of Islam, whether it was prior to 75 or now, have been on the post that I'm blessed to be on this long.
Wow. Yes, sir.
And I remember when I was at the palace meeting with the minister, sitting facing him, his knee to my knee. And he was telling me, he said, brother, do not go to LA and teach fighting. They know how to fight.
Mm.
See? He said, go teach family. Then he said, find a way, brother, to meet with law enforcement. And I want you to go to every leader, black, white, political, police, and you go and you ask permission to do this work.
Mm.
Well, when I came to LA Mosque, we have a history because the Los Angeles police, raided our
Yes,
mosque
sir.
and killed
Yes, sir.
a member of the nation. So there's always been tension there. And the minister wanted me to ease that tension because he saw something futuristic. See? And he said, look, brother, we're not against all police. We're just against rogue police, bad police.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to live in a community where there is no police.
Come on, brother minister.
See?
Make it plain. Yes.
And so it took a minute because I even had a run-in.
Yes, you did.
And I think this was the changing point. In 2005, there was a young boy by the name of Devin Brown who stole a car, was joyriding, and the police, when he stopped, they shot him over 70 times, 14 years old. I went to the scene, and it was a big protest. And I, with other community activists, we led a protest against the LA police, charging them with excessive force. And in a few months, we won the case. And it was the first time that the Los Angeles Police Department had been found guilty for excessive force.
Mm.
Now, before that, there was a meeting where I went to the police chief at that time. Man, I'm having a little senior moment. He was a brother. And I asked the chief, I said, Chief, I would like to meet with you and all of your top brass. I want to have a meeting. It's going to be a meeting, any and everything you ever wanted to know about the Nation of Islam. He said, I think let's do it. Mm-hmm. So he had the top gang units, and it was a big meeting, about 300 cops. And when I went to the meeting, and I'm sitting on the desk, and the cops, I mean, they was like tight, the ugliest looks on their face. And I'm sitting up there begging Master Fraud Muhammad to give me the spirit.
Come on, brother. Yes,
of
sir.
the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because I'm nervous. I said, I asked for this. So when I got up, I said, how am I going to break the ice? I pretended. I pretended something happened. I said, you know what, you all, I'm having a moment. Y'all just give me a moment because I saw something on the way over here that disturbed me. I said, I saw men laying on the ground with drugs and guns, and I saw some of the officers had guns pointed to their heads. I just want to kind of get over that moment.
Come on, brother.
Then I looked up, and of course I've given the salutation. I said, I want you all to be honest. How many of you, when I said that there was men on the ground with drugs and guns pointed to their head, how many of you saw only black and brown men? Almost everybody raised their hand. Mm-hmm. I said, I never said what color they was. What would make you automatically go to that? That kind of broke the ice. Then one guy asked a question. He said, what would happen if a carload of Muslim brothers was pulled over? What should we expect? I said, good question. I said, we're trained that when you pull us over, if it's two brothers in the front and two brothers in the back, the brothers in the back should put their hands on the front seat so you could see them. The driver puts his hand at a 12-degree on top of the steering wheel, and the passenger puts his hands on the dashboard so that you could see him. We roll down all the windows. I said, if you ask us to get out of the car, we will. If you ask us to hold up our hands, we will. I said, but if you tell us to lay down on the ground, we will not do that.
That's right.
One of their ladies said, see, I got a problem with that. I said, sir, no, we will tell you no. We only bow for Allah, but you have my permission to take me to the ground, but I will not get on the ground on your command.
Come on, brother.
So one of the white male officers tried to argue me on that point, and a white female stood up and said, shut up. He's given us the benefits of their culture because she said, now the rabbis won't get in a police car on Friday.
Come on, brother.
And we honored that. We let them walk to the police station because that's their culture. This man, I mean, she whooped that dude's behind, you know, and I'm just telling you, so it was anything. I brought the restrictive laws. I gave all of them a copy of the restrictive laws.
Yes, sir.
I said, here's what we govern ourselves by. When they saw we didn't, they said, wait a minute, y'all don't have weapons? I said, no. I said, but if you attack us, we'll take your weapon.
That's right. Make it play.
Well, could we come to the mosque? I said, yeah, but you can't come in with your weapon.
That's right.
We don't allow that. I mean, it blew their mind because they thought we carried weapons. I said, no, we are not permitted to own as much as a penknife.
Come on, brother minister.
We don't drink. They didn't know these things. They just knew that the minister's security is strapped. I said, no, not one of those brothers have a gun. And and look, after that meeting, to make a long story short, we saw the police start buying papers from the brothers, buying pies from the brothers.
Yes, sir.
And it started something pretty. It still was some that didn't like it, but it opened them up because people don't know us. And because I was able to share the teachings with them and allow them to ask me any questions. See, do you all train? Do you all have a trained force to come against police? I said, no. We train to be ready if anybody attack us. We fight with those who fight with us, but our way is peace. See, and it begun something. In fact, 3 police officers joined the nation. After 3 black police officers joined the nation. After the
praises due to Allah.
So,
yes,
and I said all of that to get to this point. Brother James, you all may remember when I had a run-in with the police.
Oh, I definitely remember.
It was in the Rolling 60s neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
I went to a prayer vigil, and I was a part of the Black Clergy Council with LAPD. And that day, it was right after we won this big lawsuit against LAPD for shooting that young brother. The next day, there was a gang murder that I went to pray for the community and try to resolve the conflict. Well, a police officer almost hit some of the participants. And I stepped off the curb, me and the brothers, and I said, officer, I'm minister at that time, Tony Muhammad, is everything all right? Because you almost hit somebody. And he said, get your black, and cuss me back. I said, excuse me? He said, I'm not going to tell you again. I'm telling you, step back. So I took a half a step back. I said, officer, I need your watch commander. He said, I ain't calling nobody. I'm going to tell you again, you didn't step back far enough. So I said, you know what? I had Chief Bratton's number. So I called Chief Bratton, and he didn't pick up. Chief Passenger picked up. And I was like, look, man, some of your officers, I did everything you all have trained us. They're being very disrespectful. We're at a prayer vigil. Chief Passenger said, minister, turn around and get his badge number and name. And when I turned around, he pepper sprayed. And the FOI commenced to kick in there behind. We took their badges, took their guns. And the brothers took me off the scene because other police was coming out of the woodwork. And they didn't want me to be in the middle of the fight, but I wanted to fight.
Of course you did. Yes,
so they was holding me down in one of the gang members' homes, and I pretended I had to go to the bathroom. And I went out the back door. And when I went out the back door, there was riot cops everywhere, as if it was planned. And a black officer saw me. He said, man, that's Minister Muhammad. He said, brother, it's you? I said, Officer Scoggins at the time. I said, brother, your officers was wrong. He said, can we talk? I said, sure. He started walking toward me, and the riot cops was walking behind him, and they broke rank. He tried to stop him, but they didn't. So I told the brothers, put your hand up. And they handcuffed me, picked me up, threw me to the ground, and the corner of my mouth hit the curb and cracked all my teeth. And the gang members started throwing bottles. Little did I know, at 11 years old, one of the gang members were Nipsey Hussle.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
So they took me to the police station, and in 30 minutes, maybe an hour after the word had went out on the radio stations, on all the hip hop channels, that I had been beat very bad by the police, and they had me at the 76th precinct. And in almost an hour, thousands of people had gathered and circled the police station and threatened to burn the city down if I wasn't out in an hour. And so the police chief let the captain in. They let the Final Call newspaper in. I mean, they've never done that before. And the police chief begged. He said, brother, there's a lot of people. I need your help. We want to take you to the hospital. I said, no, you're not taking me to the hospital. I'm going out that door to see my people. I said, because if a riot starts, you're going to kill them. And they let me out. I mean, brother, it was so many people. It blew me away. And that's how Nipsey Hussle was introduced to me. I didn't know who he was. Now, years later, we're talking about the police now. Years later, Trayvon Martin gets murdered. Nipsey Hussle put on a big event for Trayvon Martin's mother. I walk into the event. I don't know him. Now he's a rap star. And I walk in the event. He stops the event, snatches the microphone, and tell the community why all the gangs love and respect the Nation of Islam. And he talked about my work. He said, I was 11 years old, and I watched this man almost lose his life for our homies, and we'll be forever grateful to him.
Yes, sir.
This is why, and I'm blown away.
Allahu.
And I said that to say, when he was murdered, it was almost a riot, because they didn't know how to handle our people, because thousands of people was coming to where Nipsey was murdered. I get a call from the mayor because a riot broke out. We're at FOI class. The mayor and the chief of police, this is our relationship. This wasn't the first time I had stopped a riot. This was now the third. And he said, Minister Muhammad, I need your help. I said, what's up, Mayor? He said, a riot broke out. You're the only one that the people respect.
Come on.
I need you, please. Will you go back over there and help us? I said, Mayor, I said, but look, I would love to do that. But how are the police acting? I need total control. He said, well, I have Chief Moore. I didn't know Chief Moore. And now the chief called me. He said, Brother Muhammad, I'm on. He said, yes, I will make sure that all of my commanders will be put up under your authority. I said, all right. I said, hold on. I need the brothers to hear this. So I put him on speakerphone and made him say it again in front of the FOI class. And when we went, brother, the commanders, all the officers, I took about 150 brothers, and we went, all the rioting stopped instantly. And when the people saw the police was doing everything we asked them to do, the gang members was like, God dang, cuz, big homie, man, he got these guys. Man, the nation got Jews. Hey, man, I'm blown away, brother, because that's Master from. That's Allah. That ain't us.
Right. That's right.
Allah had put that kind of love in the heart of the people. And so we were the security for like a 1 mile radius. No police could come within that 1 mile radius unless they checked with our captain. And so for 30 days, we secured that area so people could come in and pay their respect. And it was because the LAPD gave us the control. And I'm telling you that because that's the kind of relationship. Anytime there's a problem in the community, the police call me to come and resolve it. If there's a conflict where it looks like it's about to be a fight between the police and the community, we get that call. And the officers respect us and the streets respect us. So that's the kind of relationship we have. But it didn't happen overnight. It took a long time to cultivate it.
You know, Brother Minister, I remember the words that you spoke when you emerged from the police department that really resonated, of course, with the crowd, but with everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. My head is bloody,
but unbowed.
But unbowed. I'll never forget that. All praise is due to Allah. You know, that scripture, Brother Minister, pick up your cross and follow me. That particular history reminds me of April 1972 with our brother Lewis when they attacked the mosque in New York. They did the same thing with the minister. The city said, if we don't see Farrakhan out here alive and well, everybody here gonna die.
Yeah.
And when I recite that scripture, what it is you are stepping into the footsteps, or had stepped into the footsteps of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, experiencing the same thing, following that wonderful example. And it tells us that respect is earned. But it also tells us, if you pardon the colloquialism, ain't no punks in Islam. Ain't
no,
man.
No, and I tell you, that act, because the minister for years had been saying, brother, I got a name for you.
Man.
And when we took the brothers and sisters and celebrated Nipsey, because Nipsey was studying the teachings. Nipsey was actually processing, but he wasn't doing it at the mosque. We was doing it at his studio. Man. And all of the ministers, when the minister came in town, because the family wanted the minister to do his funeral. And when the minister came to town, that demonstration of taking the brothers and sisters to that area, and it went viral. And we showed love to Nipsey, and we saluted him. We brought flowers with red and blue roses on it in the form of a star and crescent.
Wow.
Because Nipsey had tattooed on his face a star and crescent, telling the people, I'm moving towards Islam. And all the ministers was named by the minister that day.
Yes, sir.
And all of them except me.
Mm.
And it was at that time, we sitting at the table, all the national laborers was there, and he looked at me. He said, brother, that one act you did, I want you to know, you don't have no sins.
Come on, brother. Wow.
All your sins have been wiped clean, brother.
Clean slate.
See, I didn't know how to handle that. I'm like, what? Brother Arif, everybody kicking me under the table. I'm like, my sin, I'm thinking crazy thoughts right now. How the hell am I sin? Arif hit me. I'm like, bro, what does he mean by that? Sins wiped clean?
Wow.
Then he named all the ministers. Crazy. He said, brother, I'm not going to give you a name. Allah going to have to give me a name to give you.
Mm.
So the next day, we're at his table and some of the music moguls came to meet with the minister and he's playing his music. And he stopped the music and everybody got quiet and a little scared. He said, brother, Allah just dropped your name in my head.
Wow.
He said, you're no longer Tony Muhammad. He said, you are Abdul. He gave what Abdul means. You know, the slave servant of God.
That's right.
He said, you're also Malik. He said, you're the first person I've given the name Malik to. You're the first. He said, but you're not Malik the king. No. You're Malik in the prayer. Malikiyomidi.
Oh, come on, beloved. Wow.
The one who takes the law of recompense and settle differences between people. You've been doing that all your life, brother.
That's magnificent.
Resolution. Yes, come on.
He said, but also you are to wear the name Sayyid.
Come on.
Then he told me to go look it up. He wouldn't tell me what that one meant.
Mm.
So I pull it up and I'm looking at the name, man, and I'm scared of it.
Yeah.
So he said, brother, do you like it? I said, minister, I love it. He said, well, what does it mean? I gave the second meaning. I said, well, it says in here, one in whom people trust. He said, brother, why are you giving me the weak meaning? Give me the first. I mean, I'm thinking the minister don't know the meaning.
Well, brother minister.
You know? But it means Lord.
You
know,
yes, sir.
One in whom God has given the authority to be Lord over an area. I'm scared of that even to the day.
Yes, sir.
I like the second one when it say people trust you, you know.
Right.
I can take that. and so, dear brother and sisters, you know, it's that kind of work, you know, because we can join the nation and want to hate police and not mature and see a bigger picture. No. I used to be like that. It was the minister, man. He showed me how to win everybody. See? Yes. While at the same time, we dealt with rogue cops. Now, we don't play. You heard our people. We're against that cop, not all cops.
That's right.
See?
That's right.
And just like the minister, brothers, y'all better do right by us while the power is still in your hand, because the day is coming. Well, our people will start killing you all.
That's right.
And so I've garnered that kind of respect, you know, and Mayor Garcetti, who did that of me, in fact, he's been asking me to come and get some dictations from him. He said, because brother, I want what you did. I want my words put in your book. And I said, you know, I haven't thought about writing a book, but he said, I want to tell the world about what you did to save the city of Los Angeles billions of dollars, because a riot, because Nipsey Hussle had so much influence with all the hoods. It was about to get crazy, my brother.
Yes, sir. All praise is due to Allah. Brother Minister, I wanted to ask you if there were any illustrations that you had shared with our director, Sister Sheila, that we might be able to display. I know you have some beautiful photos of the peace ride and all of that, and some history. Do we have anything we could show the people?
I mean, I would have. I'm on my phone right now, so.
Oh yes, sir.
But you know, maybe at another. I mean, we got so much footage.
Yeah,
brother. I got footage of the Samoan brothers hugging us. One Jacano brother came and said to me, you know, you're not just the father of black gangs. We respect you too. Mm. And I had on my brown uniform. I said, I know, that's why I'm wearing my brown uniform.
Yes, sir.
And he just fell in my arms. I got pictures of that. I got video footage of that. I got video footage of 300 to 400 hoods dropping their rags at our feet saying they're done. Oh. I got video footage of the Mexican mafia boss named Balboa. We settled a 20-year bloodbath between the East Coast Crips and the 13th Street Florencias. They had been in a 20-year war, but because of Nipsey Hussle, and they watched it from prison. Well, they called a meeting, and
yes, sir.
The Mexican mafia boss Balboa said he wanted to meet me. Now, look, he's in prison. And we got the 13th Street Chicano gangs and the black East Coast Crips, ready to go to war in the meeting. He calls on the phone, FaceTime from prison. Now, he don't even supposed to have no phone. He on FaceTime. And he asked the Chicano brother to give me the phone. As God is my witness, he said these words. He said, we have been watching the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and you and the Nation of Islam for years. You are the only black organization that we respect.
Come on, brother.
And I want my community to learn more about the teachings of Louis Farrakhan. And I want you to know tonight, I'm going to make a declaration to all the homies that no brown brother will kill a black brother from this night forward. Brother, the whole room started crying. And then he asked me to give the phone back to their leader, and he had him to turn the phone to all the youngsters. And he started speaking in Spanish, and it was like he was God. They bowed. And then the black gang leaders said, from this day forward, we will not lift a finger to hurt y'all. And from that day to now, haven't even been a bloody nose between those two groups.
Man, that's fantastic. Now, you know what this means, Brother Minister, because we got to have that footage. We got to have those photos and that history, and we need to show it to the world. And for two reasons, one of which, of course, it illuminates the work, the resurrection work in the broadest sense, but it also takes the minister or helps the Messiah to get out of the prison that media has put him in with that kind of representation. So
yeah, you should see how the gang members, when the minister showed up, he showed up at ground zero where Nipsey was murdered. Wow. The Hispanic, look, there were gang members who had never even smiled, crying. And the way the minister embraced the man, it'll tear you up, man. Ain't nothing like this man.
All praises due to Allah.
Women bringing their babies to the minister for him to just touch them, that they won't be killed in gang violence. And when the minister addressed the group, thousands of people, man, it was a sight to see, brother. So we're the it. Like Reverend Alfredi said, we are the last men and women standing. And when we march with the MGT on the scene,
yes.
brother, women fell to their knees saying, that's our nation. That's our nation. I told y'all we got a nation. We got an army. They love us. The MGT crying, the people crying. Man, I'm telling you. Our people, brother.
Yes.
All praise is due to Allah. So that leads to my request, Brother Minister, in terms of a part 2,
Yeah.
where we can devote a considerable amount of time of the broadcast to showing the world that history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll send you in advance. I'll send you all some of the footage.
Yes, sir.
And the pictures.
Beautiful.
Footage of our sisters embracing mothers who've lost their children.
Yes.
It'll tear you up, brother.
Yes.
Bikers and lowriders. I mean,
Yes.
every month for 15 years, we have a peace ride every month without fail. Even during the pandemic, the city of Los Angeles said that the peace rise was essential and they had to go on.
Come on, brother. Yes.
When everything else was shut down, not the peace rise. We only missed 2 months in 15 years.
Praise be to Allah.
All praise is due to Allah. Yes, sir.
So, we appreciate receiving the footage. However, I must be honest with you that that's not going to take you off the hook for part 2, brother.
Oh, no. Look, Brother James, all you got to do, look, I'm your brother, your friend. All y'all got to do is ask. I'll make time. Because, we have to tell our story, brother.
That's right.
But people don't know the impact. We're not the kind of group that try to brag about what we do.
Come on.
But it ain't bragging.
That's right.
We got to show real time what we do.
That's right.
See, good news is more powerful than bad news.
That's right.
And the Holy Quran tells us, bring good news to the believers.
That's right.
Because it puts hope,
That's
in the people. And now the peace rise is in at least 7 other major cities where people are doing them on their own, And in fact, I was in Miami a few months ago, and Homeland Security and the law enforcement in the Miami area wants me to come back and train their law enforcement on how to engage our community.
All praise is due to Allah, sir. All right. Before I get carried away, Sister Starla, if we could go back to the viewing and listening audience. Excuse me.
All right. We've got a question here from Lukman Muhammad, who states, Assalamu alaikum. May you explain the significance of the defense you presented against the attack of Message to the Black Man from or by Reverend Price?
Thank you. Well, boy, that's old school.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Well, that defense was done at a time not too much longer after the Million Man March, when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan took ill. And he had to go and have that big surgery.
Yes, sir.
So the minister was not really speaking. And it was after the Million Man March where Satan was using the envy of our Black leaders to attack the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so Reverend Price was a real big evangelist on TV. I don't know this for a fact. I just believe they got to him and tried to use him to take some of the momentum from the Million Man March away from the minister to present him as some kind of pariah, or our teachings as some kind of mystical bull crap, reverse hate teaching. And and he had a big audience. Back then, we didn't have social media. And he had a big audience all over the world. And he was going in on the minister. He was attacking the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Message to the Black Man. But he was reading out of the Message to the Black Man that was not published by us.
Yes, sir.
It was published by Secretariat, but they had changed the messenger's words. And I just decided, I did a 10-week series. And I begged Allah to give me the spirit of the minister. And I did not attack Reverend Price. I went after his scholarship.
That's right. That's right.
They didn't even, the minister said to me, brother, you are the originator of PowerPoint. I brought a big screen TV in the mosque, and I would play what Reverend Price say and stop it and answer it.
Yes, sir.
Because I tried to get him to meet with me in private, and he refused. So I had a TV, and I went after everything he said that I knew we could defend. And I would stop it and defend it. And the significance of that was we put it also on cable in Los Angeles, and it reached a lot of people. And at least 12 members. Because once I showed he had the wrong message to the black man.
Wow.
And once we went into this proof, because he was saying God ain't, they teach that God is a man. And he used, I think in the book of Numbers, where it says God is not a man, comma, that he should lie. And my wife is an English teacher. And she said, baby, that's not what that say. He's lying. It says God is not a man, comma, that he should lie. She said, what he's saying is, comma, denotes to the subject matter.
Yes, sir.
She said, what that's really saying is God is not the kind of man that lies.
That's
man,
right.
When I went and did that piece and put it, I mean, it was so big that message to the black man was selling all over the country because he told his followers to go buy message to the black man. The minister told me to thank him.
We heard the minister comment on that too, brother minister.
Yes. Now he was sick. So my tapes got to the minister. And he called me once and he said, brother, that one defense that you did, it was a theology class. And others should study. He said, you know what I like about what you did, brother? You did not attack him personally. You went after the scholarship. That's what I want. See, you didn't talk about him or call him out of his name. You went right after the scholarship. He said, and that one defense you did, brother, will get you a page in the history books of the Nation of Islam.
Allahu Akbar.
I cried people, that tape is all over the federal prisons. Almost in every, and I meet brothers who come out of prison and say, man, your defense of Reverend Price, you know, and so the significance of that was it started dialogue between me and a lot of the Christian pastors, see, who really, many of them feared for Reverend Price's life because they thought, you know, because people think they thought we was going to kill him. So Minister Farrakhan said, brother, when you see him, please, on my behalf, you thank him. I love the questions he raised about our teachings. He helped us, brother.
Yes, sir.
One day I was at a banquet that a lot of black leaders were, and him and his wife was there. And I told the security to stay back because I didn't want him to be threatened, feel threatened. And I went over to his table and I stood a few feet off and I said, Reverend Price, sir, may I approach your table? And his wife was hitting his hand. He said, let the brother. He said, yeah, come over. And I said, brother, may I shake your hand on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? He wanted me to tell you personally, thank you. He said, you had every right to question our teaching. And he wanted me to thank you personally, brother, what you have done. And we will never disrespect you, any of your parishioners, anyone who follow you. We have the utmost respect. Man, his wife was, I told you them people was different. These are the nicest people. And he stood up and he hugged me.
Wow.
And I walked away. He's transitioned now, but I delivered what the minister asked me to deliver.
That's right.
So that was the significance. It brought the two communities closer. I have a cadre of Christian pastors who we study together. They'll call me and ask me certain questions about what's the nation's viewpoint on this part of the Bible? What is our viewpoint? How do we see this? And it blows them away when we give them exegesis.
Wow. I remember by Allah's grace, student minister, that when you came in the Bay Area and you was in St. Pete, and I got the DVD from you then. I remember trying to keep up because there was so many of them in there. This side, that side. You flip one thing. But when I tell you, it most definitely was a theology lesson, you know, and the way that you did it, you broke it down. And I remember you was writing down the different books and who wrote in them. You had a whole chronological order, you know, the breakdown of the Bible and everything like that. I mean, went into it. It was wonderful. I kept up with that for
the brothers loved it. I said, Reverend,
everybody did.
Price,
Yes,
I said, shadow boxing, Reverend Price. It's easy to look good shadow boxing an opponent.
That's right.
Yes, I can see it now. That was very wonderful, dear brother. We enjoyed that. That's a classic. That's what we consider the classic right there.
Yeah, yeah. People still ask for that tape. I gotta get it. You know, brother, to be honest, I gotta do better because I teach and I never really go get. I don't know where half of my tapes are.
Right.
You know, a brother told me the other day, Minister, I got a lot of your. They still got them on VHSs and
yes, sir.
And CDs.
I do. Yes, sir.
And DVDs. So
right. Yes,
I got a tech team here of young people who's gonna kind of convert a lot of those classics for me.
Right.
We can put them back out there, you know.
That would be wonderful. Praise be to
Absolutely.
All right, we'll keep it going. I know we got much
Yeah.
time.
Can we get at least one more question?
Let's do that.
Let's Minister Chad.
Praise be to Allah. Let's do it. With the subject title today that we're dealing with, the universality of original people. Student Minister Abdul Malik, if you would go into the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad at one time, remember he said that black is not national. He said black is universal.
That's right.
Do you mind explaining what makes black universal for our listeners? Because I know sometimes we get caught up in just the color scheme and we think, and you talked about in part the indifferences, you know, of the language sometimes, you know, speaking. And I like how you was talking about how when speaking, you would sometimes say, you know, the original people, how the minister say, you know, to use the Aboriginal and original people. And it helps because, you know, we also have in our mosque here, Hispanic brother. And, you know, and I look, you know, and I said, dang, you know, we out on the corner soldier. We're like, well, you know, we'll talk. Hey, what's up, black man? You know, I said, but, you know, if he go at it like that, I said, they'll probably look at him like, you know, and I never forget one time we was knocking door to door. And there's a brother, they said, hey, wait, the nation, y'all got Chicos in it? Y'all got Chicos now and everything, you know. So the language barriers sometimes get us caught up. But if you can explain what's behind, you know, black is universal for us, if you don't mind going into that.
Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan always tell us to go to the root.
That's right.
Because everything has a beginning.
Mm-hmm.
See? All people have a beginning. The Caucasians have a beginning. How did you get here?
Come on.
See? The Native Americans, how did you get here? Asians, how did you get here? Who's the root of all of this? And if you look out into the universe, see, behind the sun, moon, and stars, you see an array of blackness.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's why black is not a color. It is the essence from which all color comes from. So if we are the original mothers and fathers, and this is why in Arabia, you have the Sphinx, well, that's what they call it,
Mm-hmm.
sitting majestically in the desert to remind the whole world who the original man is.
That's right.
And I think it was either Napoleon or Alexander the Great, one of those white discoverers.
Napoleon, yes.
Who went out and found that everywhere they went, we'd already been there. He lined 21 cannons up.
That's right.
And shot the nose.
That's right.
Off of the Sphinx. See? Because it was the head of a black man and the body of a lion, letting you know we are the father of civilization.
That's right.
And let me tell you, when you really talk to white people right, they know.
Yes, sir.
See?
Yes, sir.
And so when you teach them that, the universality, and if you look at it, Mendel.
Come on, bro.
Mendel, who's a geneticist, said he talked about recessive genes and dominant genes. You can get the recessive from the dominant. He said the blacker you are, the darker you are, the more dominant your genes. And the lighter you are, the more recessive you are. But you can get the lighter from the darker, but you cannot get dark from light.
That's right.
Scientifically proving.
Come on, brother
That
minister.
we are the original people. Look, even our blackness is not as black as we used to be.
That's right.
See? Because there's been race mixing. We were so black at one time, we were so beautifully black that when you look at us, our face was shining. Yeah. And it looked like light coming off of our face.
Come on,
so
brother.
we are. And if you look at us, look at our nature, with all we've gone through, 400 years of the worst suffering, and we still don't have it in our heart to do to those what they did to us.
That's right.
Because when we wake up, the minister said, we are like a father and a mother who went sleep and left the planet for our children to run.
Come on, brother. Yes, sir.
See, the white man is only 6,000 years old, maybe a little bit more than 6,000. We know Yakub. We know his work. You know, we know when the brown man showed up. We know when the yellow man showed up. See? And we know the Native Americans was exiled from Africa 16,000 years ago or so. From us. So the universality meaning that now when I go among any people, I know these are my children.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're the Father. And when we wake up with our intelligence, and once we destroy ignorance, see, everybody would want to follow us, man. I watch Caucasians bow at the minister's feet. I took a group of anti-vaccine people to him, and they crying, telling him that they know who he is. And they accept that they came from us. See? Yes, so that's the universality, meaning that we are the root.
That's right.
Of every human being that exists on this planet came from a black woman. And you know, years ago, Brother James, that was a magazine. I think it was Life magazine. One of those magazines.
That's right. That's right.
Came out.
Yes, sir.
This fossil, a bone they found on a black woman in Africa that was millions of years old. And they called the bone Zinjanthropus.
That's
knowing that we don't know Swahili. Zinj means black. Anthropus means man. And she had a mama.
That's right.
See?
That's right.
So even when Caucasians go looking for the original people, they don't go to Europe looking for the original, man. They go into Africa digging up bones.
That's right.
And so therefore, that's what makes us. When I went amongst the Chinese and Sister Amina Lee, and they showing me pictures of their ancestors, black as me and you. They was keeping that away because they've developed shame being black, because black has been stomped down by white supremacy.
That's right.
When you really know who you are, see, it should build pride into you and us. See, not hatred for anyone.
Come on.
But excellence in you. Wait a minute, I'm a God. Look, when I first heard the black man as a God, brother, that messed me up in a good, I needed to hear that.
Yes, sir.
We're not the supreme God, but we're little gods.
Come on.
And we are direct descendants from God himself. I'm
That's
like,
right.
what I need. And now when you wake up and you mature, because I used to not be comfortable among Caucasian people, being honest. I wasn't really comfortable around other ethnicities. I've learned the more I dig into my nature.
Teach, brother.
And the more I nurse from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Allah start clearing my eyes up, and I'm listening at everything and seeing everything through the supreme wisdom. When I go amongst Caucasians now, I'm able to handle them because I know I'm talking to one of our wayward children. And the minister, I close with this.
Yes, sir.
He said, you can call the white man the devil all day. Guess what? He can throw back in your face. I came from you.
That's right.
I'm the worst part of you. So we're the new rulers. See?
Yes.
And this is why the scriptures say there's a lion sleep in Judah. Who will awake him?
Right.
See? We've been asleep for 6,000 years. Well, actually longer than that, but we've been asleep. And now we're waking up and we're taking our rightful place. But Satan is trying to manipulate it by getting us to pervade all of the filth of his world. See? But we, the nation of Islam, we are that universal people that when we mature, the minister will be able to send us anywhere. I'm telling you, by God, I'm not bragging, but by Allah's grace, you can send me anywhere. You can send me to Germany and I can teach.
That's right, brother.
White folks the teachings without attacking them.
Yes, sir.
So that's the universality. Because if it's the truth, it's universal. Truth don't belong to no religion.
That's right.
See? Christianity don't have no, I would say, block on truth. Islam don't have no block on truth. Truth is truth. And in fact, anything that is true is Islam.
That's right.
And so that was make our teachings universal. That's what make us as a people universal. Go to Brazil.
Come on.
We're there. Go to Europe. We tell the Europes, you're not the original European.
That's right.
Black people are.
Come on. Yes, sir.
China, you're not the original Chinese.
That's right.
We are.
That's
Japanese. Right. We are. See, that's the universality. And then when we grow up and we mature, I believe we will pull this whole planet together. We will see God bring about a universal government of peace, wherein we all can live in peace. And who's better to be placed at the top of that?
Come on.
But those who have suffered the worst.
That's right.
Our suffering has qualified us to lead. We just have to be purified.
That's right.
Yes. All praises.
Allah, what? Thank you.
What a wonderful way to close.
Yes,
segue into our announcement. Brother Minister, we want to extend to you the opportunity to make the last closing remark. So if you could stay until our announcements are over, there are only a few minutes.
Sure.
We appreciate it. And it is, I'd like to turn it over now to our dear brother student minister, Chad Muhammad, and our co-host, Sister Starla, with Brother Chad, or Sister Starla, whoever is going first. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We want to thank our viewing and listening audience once again for tuning in this evening. As a reminder, make sure you visit www.finalcall.com. There you can take out a subscription to the Final Call newspaper. You can take out a digital subscription. Of course, when you are in the cities around the country and you see the FOI with a hard copy, a physical edition of the paper, make sure you pick up one for yourself as well as one for a family member or friend. Also on that very same website, if you click on the store.finalcall.com, you can order messages, books from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as well as other student ministers of the Nation of Islam. And last but not least, on that very same website, if you click on Final Call Radio, that will take you to Final Call Radio, where you can hear excerpts of messages and lectures from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as well as musical selections. And again, that is Final Call Radio. Thank you. And now I will pass it to Student Minister Chad Muhammad for his closing announcements.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, Sister Starla. For those that are tuning in, whether it's your first, second, or third time, however long you've been tuning in, if you feel that spirit and want to learn more about the life-giving teachings of the Nation of Islam, we want you to go to www.univsality.com NOI.org/join, and fill out the digital form that you see here on our screen so that someone may get back in touch with you so you can start the process, the orientation class to become a registered member of the Nation of Islam. Don't hesitate. Don't be bashful. Go once again at www.noi.org/join. And by chance, if there's anyone that's around in the Bay Area tomorrow, Tampa Bay area, that is, we want you to invite you out to our mosque meeting tomorrow at 5508 North 50th Street to hear from myself. I'll be speaking tomorrow on a subject title, Be Ye Therefore Perfect. Right? So please come by, stop in, drop in, bring a guest, bring mama, Nook, Ray, bring everybody. Y'all just come and join us and have, a good time tomorrow with us. All right. By chance, if you're anywhere else within different cities of the Nation of Islam, wherever you're at, please report to your local mosque, the local study group, to hear the life-giving teachings. If by chance you're not able to, you can tune in to NOI.org, the website, the webcast from our national headquarters. We have a great message tomorrow, face to face with the might of God by our dear brother, delivered by student minister, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. So please, you can tune in for that. Make no excuse tomorrow. Make sure you make time for God, okay? And for those that are tuning in tonight, we just want to also just encourage everyone as you have given your time. We also just want to ask if you don't mind just donating and give toward Closing the Gap. You could donate to CTG Broadcast via Cash App. That's $CTG Broadcast. Also, you could go through PayPal at jkingdom@aol.com or through Zelle at Closing the Gap Broadcast at 813-481-3921. And we appreciate everything that you give. It most definitely helps us in keeping the broadcast afloat. We thank you for your time. We ask that you continue to share. Make sure you join us on our YouTube channel. But please donate and encourage others to donate. We appreciate everything that is given to us and your continuous donation of your time and finances that you can spare. Once again, thank you to our listening audience. And we thank you, dear brother, student minister Abdul Malik, for your wonderful the time that you have taken out, your wonderful answers from our listening audience. I mean, it was a great response for everybody that was just chatting back and forth about it. Great testimony. I mean, you gave me most definitely something to go off of. I mean, I got thoughts. I mean, I can't wait to, go to the mosque tomorrow and just share some of the things that from what you said today have motivated me to do by Allah's grace. Thank you, dear brother.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Praise be to Allah. At this time, I turn it back over to you, Student Minister James, as we get ready for the last closing remarks with Student Minister Abdul Malik. You on mute there, brother.
Senior moment.
Yeah.
And I think between all of us here, I'm the most justified in saying and claiming senior moment. All praises due to Allah. But I want to, as we close, show you what we are doing with your support from our listening and viewing audience. And we want to thank you for your support. So if we could, Sister Sheila, we have grown now from a broadcast, a single broadcast, we've grown to a network hosting and facilitating subsidiary broadcasts or affiliate broadcasts. I like that better. And we have 8 of them. We have our dear brother, Student Minister Willie Muhammad with I Have a Testimony. And that airs every Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have our dear sister and Dr. Patrice Muhammad. That airs every first and third Thursday. I know the flyer says Sunday. We got to fix that, but it's actually Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the great Rockwell Radio Show that is a part of our network, hosted by our brother Vaughn and Big Dave C, airing every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, the Farrakhan generation with our dear brother Michael J.H. Muhammad, or Michael Hassan Muhammad, Sister Mariam Warith Muhammad, and our brother, who is a director by profession. And you know him, Brother Minister. You welcomed him and celebrated him in his graduation when he received his X. And we were very, very proud. He's in Mosque number 27, Brother Ramel X. So I know you know him. And I know he's being taken great care of. All praises due to Allah. We have our dear brother, Student Minister Abdul Muhammad. His broadcasting time is to be announced as the time previously he was broadcasting on Nuestra Nación de Islam. He took up a teaching job or a teaching obligation at that time. So we just have to reorganize, or he has to reorganize. He will let us know when he'll be broadcasting again, but he is a part, and Nuestra Nación de Islam is a part of the network. And then, of course, we have our dear sister Angelica, Healing with Angelica, every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And last but certainly not least, and of course, we know you know her very well, Brother Minister, Sister Charlene Muhammad, the national correspondent to the Final Call newspaper, airing every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, 5 p.m. your time, Pacific time. But we are growing, and I want you to know that we could not grow like that without your help. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we hope and pray that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is pleased. And Brother Minister, when you see him again and you're in your presence, would you please give him our love and greetings from the Closing the Gap Broadcast Network. It's his network. I mean, it came from him. So all praises.
I'll do the best I can to remember it.
Yes, sir.
You know, yes, sir. Thank you, dear
brother.
Yeah,
if you can. We appreciate it, Brother Minister. We love him. And in truth, all of what we're doing is for an audience of one.
That's right.
And that's him. Also visit our website. I think you'll be impressed. www.ctgbnetwork.com. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Minister Abdul Malik Sayyid Muhammad with closing remarks.
First, I just want to once again thank the four of you for the work and your commitment to the airways. You all really, I hope, you really know what this means to the nation of Islam for the advancement of our people.
Yeah.
Because the war now, the battle is in the sky.
That's right.
And that sky is the airways of our people, the social media. That's why so many battles. And for us to have these platforms, I did not know you had grew the platform.
All praises due to Allah.
See, but that's the universality of a seed.
That's right. That's right.
Well, yeah.
And as I look, Brother Chad, at your lecture, you know, be ye perfect. And I saw that tree. It started with a seed.
Come on, brother.
It came from one.
Yes.
Universality. All of those branches.
Yes.
I'm telling you, and I think, Brother James, I've told you before.
Yes.
You all reach more people on your broadcast than any mosque.
Praises due to Allah, sir.
Which is beautiful because our people now they're in transit. They're on the move. They don't want to go sit down for 2 hours.
That's right. That's right.
But they can grab their phone, they can click on or grab their laptop, and at the comfort of their home, get taught deep teachings. You're farmers.
Yes, sir.
And you're spraying the seed.
That's right.
And then to have Sister Starla.
Come on.
The star. She's the star. She don't like me saying that.
Come on now. Well, you better get used to it.
She's the star.
Because she's responsible for putting the Star newspaper.
That's right. That's right.
Out that we can carry to the people, man. She give us the baton in the way of truth. It's the greatest newspaper. What makes it the greatest?
Come
it's
on.
Not one lie.
That's right.
Written
That's
in the
right.
Final Call newspaper. It is all pure truth. See? It's like the second best minister in the Nation of Islam. What you all are doing, man. It's beautiful. Why? Because anybody can log in. Everybody can't come to the mosque meeting. Caucasians can come on this.
That's right.
They can see this from Japan. They can see this from Germany.
That's
See,
right.
this is the universality
That is right.
of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I close with these words. I pray for the maturity of all the members of the Nation of Islam in our community.
Yes, sir.
I'm really begging us to stop being out on these branches. Religious branch called Christianity, the religious branch called Islam, the religious branch called Judaism, the religious branch called Hebrews. See, the social or movement branch called Panthers or Nubians. These are branches on a tree that has a universal root.
That's right. Praise be to
See?
Allah.
What would a tree look like arguing if you was looking at a tree in your community and the branches up top start looking down on the branches at the bottom saying, I'm better than you.
Come on, brother.
I'm the truth branch. Y'all lying. And then the root holler up at all of them. Shut up. Because you all came from me.
That's right.
There is but one God.
That's right.
The creator of this. And if we would just, there's nothing wrong with your branch. Love your branch. Strengthen your branch. But don't think you're the only branch.
That's right.
And if we would move from the branch, this is how I talk to the pastors. Pastors, let's deal with root knowledge. When you come and we meet with each other, leave your Christianity at the door. I'm going to leave my Islam at the door. Just be a brother. And let's just talk about a universal truth with no denomination. And I'm telling you, this is what I want to leave, because it is time for the original people to come together. We were asked a question. What is the total population of the original nation in the wilderness of North America and all over the planet Earth? And the beautiful answer coming from the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the total population of the original nation in the wilderness of North America,
Brother Minister,
is 19 million with the 2 million Indians. Makes it 19 million. Then he went on to say, but it's 4 billion, 400 million. And he didn't say black. He said original. We are the Asiatic people. And if we could just reduce ourselves to being family. When I go among the Asians, I said, how's my family? And it blows them away. When I go amongst the Samoans, how y'all doing, family? Y'all know we family, right? See? And they don't deny it. I go among the Chicano, I go among the Native Americans. We're getting ready, the FOI, we're getting ready with the Native Americans, the FOI and the male members from the Native Americans. We're going to build an NEP, the Native Americans and the FOI, and sweat together.
Come on, brother. Yes, sir.
See? All I ask for those of you who don't be so angry at the ignorance of our Chicano family who's been lied to about us, or our Chinese family who have been lied to about us. And we go to the effect of what the media is saying, and we too develop problems with our Hispanic family or our Chinese family. They don't like us. Who said so?
Come on, brother minister.
Who told you that? See? Go meet with them. Go sup with them. Go learn something of their culture. They may put the money in your hand. It seemed like they threw the money to you, but that's a cultural thing that they do.
That's right.
I just want to see us all calm ourselves down, rise above emotion into the thinking of God, and look at all human beings, even the Caucasian. See, he came from us.
That's right.
He's wayward. But when we are acting the way we should by nature, he can't act up.
That's right.
Because we will allow no one to commit a nuisance on or near our post. Come on, family. Stop black supremacy. I don't want black supremacy. I don't want white supremacy. I don't want brown supremacy. I don't want none of that. I want what God wants.
That's right.
See a universal government of people living in peace. That's my closing remarks. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you on behalf of me, my family, and the believers from the Western region. Thank you, closing the gap. And brothers and sisters, please, please go in your pocket, dig deep, and give to this broadcast. Not one time, make it a daily or monthly assignment too. If 1 million of us give $2 or $3, there's no burden on any one person. Let's support our own. Thank you. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Thank you, brother minister. And of course, we will be talking about part 2. And I'm going to hold you
pleasure.
to your commitment. Thank you. I love you, brother. I don't know how much I don't know if you know how much. And I will never forget what you did for me in my downtime. Really wasn't down. It was just, I didn't know what people were doing for me because of the pain I perceived of what they were doing to me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, my brother. You handled it well. Look at you now.
Due to Allah.
That's right. Under the law.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All praises due to Allah.
Under the law.
Let us close.
All right.
Thank you again. Love you, brother minister.
Love
Give
you.
your family our love and greetings, please.
Praise be to Allah.
Thank you.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Oh, and tune in next week. I won't announce who'll be here until I confirm, but you can rest assured it will be inspiring, instructive. So don't miss it. Same time, same channel. Thank you again, viewing and listening audience. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
There is a need in our community for a universal change. And it has to start with the man. Being a man of God means being a man possessed of the knowledge, the spirit, and the power of God, anointed to do his will. To build a people, you first must make man. Every man, no matter what his color, no matter what his race,